come visit beautiful Gaza. With its stunning beaches and charming boardwalks, you can stay in one of our 5-star hotels and get a taste of the best in Middle Eastern food. Embrace the vibrant nightlife of the city and experience a culture rich in tradition that this is what Gaza could have been like without Hamas.
All right. I'm trying to do 5 things at once. I apologize. Kufar, Akbar, everybody, welcome to a late edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. We are a weekly streamed show that is dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We are broadcasting live from the Kafir Cave in our Harb Kafiristan. Welcome, everybody. What a day. I'm sorry that we're late today. I had to do Papa duty today. This was this was just a really great afternoon. My grandson, I helped coach his basketball team, and they made it to the city championship today. And it was, I'm still on an adrenaline rush. The only time that they led in that entire game was when there was 1.2 seconds left. It was just a barn burner. They were way down. They came back, and it was just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun coaching those little guys and watching them go up and down the court and how excited they get. I even get excited myself. I had to take a little bit of an extra heart medication when I came home. I was racing so much. But anyway, thank you so much for being here today. Today we're going to touch on several different topics. If you looked at the show promo, let me get this up here. And I'm not sure if this is going to work out right. It doesn't look like it's going to, but I'm going to put it up anyway. Let me minimize that. Bring this over here. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put it up here anyway. And I was just looking at the order in which I have the, when you do a PowerPoint, it has a certain order of things. We're going to lead off with UNRWA funding today. We're going to take a look at the organization, United Nations Relief World Association organization. I don't know what it stands for, but what I do know is that they're a den of thieves and a bunch of terrorists. That's what I do know. The evidence that we're going to present today clearly shows that. And then we are going to, we're going to be looking at who helps and how they're helping the Hamas holes achieve their goals. And I want to go revisit a show that we did last spring. It's been almost a year now, that talked about how it seems like Muslims are dead set against having the truth of the historicity of the religion come out. And they're doing everything that they possibly can today, 2024, and for the past however many years they've been building that multi-high-rise complex around that Kaaba, and they've been tearing up their ancient land, their ancient city, the city that was founded by Adam and Eve, and where Abraham and Ishmael supposedly rebuilt the Kaaba. And we're going to take a look at that city and what they're doing to it today, and juxtapose that to what people who are really interested in the real history of, and how it even, regardless of how it might even affect your most sacred, cherished thoughts. And, as far as excavation of the Holy Land is concerned, Christians are never, and Jews are never afraid of people doing archaeological excavations within the Holy Land. Nobody's afraid of that. And the reason why is that every time an excavation is done and evidence is brought up that deals with the Bible, it never contradicts the Bible. The Bible always supports the evidence. On the other hand, when we look at the Quran and we look at the city of Mecca, the evidence does not support a 7th century Mecca. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize this hamajama. And we're going to start off with the funding of UNRWA. Now, I put out there in the show promo a bunch of pigs feeding. And when I think of UNRWA, this United Nations relief organization that is solely dedicated to providing relief and aid to the people, the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people is what they call it. So I'm just going to, I don't want to get in trouble with Ed. I don't see Ed in the audience yet. The Palestinian, that this is the only UN organization dedicated specifically to one group of people, the Palestinians. And they are dedicated to perpetuating their refugee status. So if you just think about this just a second, if your sole purpose is to take care of these refugees over here, and in the process of taking care of refugees, what happens all around the world, and what has happened for all of time in human history, refugees have been relocated. The only time that the refugees are not being located is in this case when it deals with the Jews in Israel. This is the only time in history where we're not relocating refugees, so-called. And when your sole purpose is, hold on, let me finish this train of thought, Brad, and then you can here. When your sole purpose is to take care of them, that is job security. If you perpetuate their refugee status, if you continue the refugee status. But just as soon as you start relocating them, you're out of a job. So it is in their interest, that of the UNRWA, rats and pigs, to perpetuate this myth of a Palestinian refugee. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's actually worse than that. So most in all cases of refugee status, you go to the nearest country of safety, and then the UN would come and help and set up. Other nations would set up and help out that nation by set up refugee camps, and then the war would end relatively shortly. You could be resettled back to your location, or you could apply for asylum someplace else. Okay, but in this case, they are totally forbidden to apply for asylum anyplace else. As a matter of fact, it is frowned upon. Like if someone sits there in Palestine, from what I understand, just watching the Twitter feeds, if like there's this guy in Gaza right now, supposedly with his family, and he's like, I have a way to get out of Gaza. It's going to cost a lot of money. Should I take it? And I'm like, yeah, dude. You know what I mean? That's just a no-brainer, dude. You know what I mean? But then he tweets back, I cannot leave my heritage. But all these other people are chiming in on Twitter. Do not leave your heritage. That is your heritage. How dare you? You are leaving it to the Jews, you traitor. And these people aren't in that area. You know what I mean? They're outside of it. And then you got, I wish Steve was here. Steve would tell you, Palestinians are hated by Arabs. They are absolutely hated by Arabs. They consider them worse than black people because they lost their land to the Jews. Seriously. That is how racist these people are towards the Palestinians.
Well, when you look at where they have been relocated to, Jordan, and what did they do to the country of Jordan?
They try to kill the king.
Right? Yeah, they try killing the Jordanians. They start a war. Said you guys aren't down with their struggle enough. The Egyptians won't let them in. The Egyptians won't let them in. The Lebanese let them in, and look what happened to their country. It's completely destroyed.
Instantly,
the
as soon as they let them in.
What's that?
I said, as soon as they let them in, that upset the Muslim Palestinian population, and they immediately went into civil war.
Yeah,
it's no joke.
And you look at the Kuwaitis. The Kuwaitis kicked them out because they sided with Saddam during the Iraq War. So,
and that's another thing. Their leadership just keeps making the wrong decision after wrong decision.
Well, if your leadership, if your existence is based on a lie, let's not forget the history here. The Palestinian Liberation Organization was established in 1964. This is before the Jews were in the West Bank and the Jews were in Gaza. Gaza was controlled by Egypt and the West Bank was controlled by Jordan. And there still was a Palestinian Liberation Organization. This has nothing to do with the West Bank and Gaza. I've said this 100 times, and has everything to do with the Sunnah of Muhammad and Jew hatred. That's that. As soon as you can come to that realization and understand that fact in this, it makes this two-state solution dream that people have, that they can just get along. They remind me of that Rodney King thing. Can't we just all get along? No, you're not all going to get along with people who want to kill you. You can't get along with them.
Another thing I should point out, in case you don't know this, or to anybody who's listening to the show doesn't know this, but I'm sure you already know this. But in these refugee camps in Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, or Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt. I don't think Egypt has any more of them. They threw them out. But either way, where they had these refugee camps, they cannot work. They literally cannot. They are barred from doing, I think it's like 70 to 100 jobs. They can't be nurses. They can't be doctors. They can't be engineers. They can't. You know what I mean? They can't be all these high level. What's wrong there? You look confused.
Okay, Rad.
Mm-hmm. What? What's wrong? What's wrong, dude?
We got feedback. There's feedback. Somebody's got their. I think that's you.
Really?
Is that me? No, it is me. It's me.
Well, mute your mic, dude.
It's me. Okay. I'm sorry. Wow. I can't
hear
I had
you.
this. I had this window open over on. Oh my gosh, where'd I go?
See how you are.
No,
okay, I had this window open.
Blame the rad. Just blame the rad.
No, it was my fault because I had this window open over on this tab, and I didn't. It's all my fault. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, as I was saying, so these refugees they're not camps anymore. They're full-fledged cities. Okay, complete with, in some cases, indoor plumbing. Okay, these are not camps. These are not tents. These are full-fledged cities. They even have houses and stuff.
Come visit beautiful Gaza.
It's beautiful Gaza. That could be. And that's another thing that really pissed me off about these people. But anyway, but they're forbidden from doing any kind of high-level job by law. So they're kept in a perpetual slum state. Okay. Here's another fun fact. When the Palestinians, when the PLL went and tried to kill Yasser Arafat, and they had that kind of, I guess, like war, the Jordanian PLL war, Syria sent in a bunch of tanks. Jordanians had to call in Israel to fly over their jets over the tanks to scare the tanks away, because they didn't have the firepower to get rid of the Syrian tanks. So they had to call in the Jews.
Right. Yeah. To blame the and that's been. I mean, unfortunately, that's been a common ploy for 2,500 years. Okay. So let's see. That makes me wonder if things. What was that? Who wrote that? What was that? I didn't see that, Brad. That makes me wonder if things will get worse. Yeah. See, that's what I do, Nico. I have two monitors going here, and it doesn't matter. I made a mistake. Anyway, okay. So let's get going on the UNRWA funding. Now, UNRWA, again, as we said, is that organization that's dedicated solely to perpetuating refugee status for these people that call themselves Palestinians. And in order to do this, you have to have money. You got to have something that supports your organization. You have to pay employees. You have to provide infrastructure. You have to provide relief, food. One of the key elements that I remember that was sent to them was cement. We need cement to build schools and hospitals and homes. And they got all kinds of cement. And what did they do with the cement? Well, they didn't build hospitals, schools, and homes. They built terror tunnels underneath their cities. There are more kilometers of tunnels underneath Gaza than the New York subway system. I'm not sure if people know this. That is how many terror tunnels they built in that area. There is more kilometers, more miles of terror tunnels underneath Gaza than there is on all of the New York subway system. That's the largest subway system in the United States. I think it's in the world. I might be wrong on that, but because there's you have places like Hong Kong, and you have Beijing and all these other super metroplex places, but that's still a lot of miles underground, and there's more miles of underground tunnels in Gaza. And they got that from UNRWA. They got the cement from UNRWA. UNRWA is therefore complicit in preparing the Hamas holes for this attack and supporting their resistance against their leadership of being arrested, and also aiding and abetting the taking and continued taking of hostages, Israeli hostages. UNRWA is responsible for this. On top of this, they have allowed billions of dollars to go to the Hamas whole leadership.